She was only 22 years old, already earning millions, building a career that was expanding beyond music into film, fashion, and global influence. So, how does someone with that level of success, that level of momentum, and that kind of future ahead lose everything in a single moment in the sky? How does a life moving toward a multi-million-dollar empire suddenly stop before it even reaches its peak? Aaliyah was not just rising. She was evolving into something much bigger than a singer. Her presence was calm yet powerful. Her brand was clean yet influential, and her financial trajectory was pointing toward long-term dominance in entertainment. But behind that success, behind the money, and behind the quiet confidence she carried, there was a story moving faster than anyone realized toward an ending that would shock the world. Born as Aaliyah Dana Houghton on January 16, 1979, in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Detroit, she was introduced to music at a young age, growing up in an environment that supported her talent and gave her early exposure to the industry. Unlike many artists who struggle for recognition, Aaliyah's entry into music came with guidance and opportunity. But that did not make her journey easy, because talent still had to prove itself, and she did that quickly. Her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, made it clear that she was not just another young singer. She had a unique voice, a smooth presence, and a style that felt different from what the industry was used to. The album performed well commercially, bringing in strong sales and establishing her as a serious artist. And with that success came money. Not just income from music sales, but opportunities that began forming around her name. Opportunities that would later turn into long-term financial value. As her career progressed, she refined her sound, working on projects like One in a Million, which pushed her even further into global recognition. This was not just success, this was growth. Her music was reaching wider audiences, her influence was expanding, and her financial position was strengthening. Record sales increased, royalties grew, and her brand began forming into something that extended beyond just songs. She was becoming a business, a name that carried value in multiple industries. And this is where her story becomes powerful from a financial perspective, because she was not limited to one source of income. She was moving into acting, appearing in films like Romeo Must Die, which opened new streams of revenue and positioned her as a multi-industry figure. This is how real wealth is built, not just through one channel, but through expansion, through turning talent into multiple income streams. And she was doing exactly that at a very young age. By her early 20s, she had already earned millions, built a global fan base, and positioned herself for a future that could have easily turned into tens or even hundreds of millions over time. Her image was clean, her reputation was strong, and her growth was consistent. Unlike many artists whose careers peak quickly and decline, Aaliyah was moving steadily upward, building something that looked sustainable, something that looked like it would last. But just like many stories where success rises quickly, time became the one factor no one could control. On August 25, 2001, everything changed. She had just completed filming a music video in the Bahamas and was preparing to return to the United States. The flight should have been routine, just another part of a successful career filled with travel, performances, and projects. But in a matter of moments after takeoff, the plane crashed, and in that instant, the life of a 22-year-old who had built a multi-million-dollar career came to an end. The news shocked the world, not just because of her fame, but because of her potential, because of everything she was on track to become. At the time of her death, her net worth was estimated to be around $8 million, a significant amount for someone her age, but still only a fraction of what she was expected to achieve. Because her trajectory was clear, she was not slowing down, she was expanding. And financially, she was entering the phase where real long-term wealth is built. But what happened next reveals a powerful truth about legacy and money. Her value did not end, it grew. After her passing, her music sales increased, her catalog gained more attention, and her name continued, generating revenue through royalties, licensing, and continued cultural influence. This is the power of intellectual property, the ability for something created once to continue producing value over time. Her work became an asset, something that would keep generating income long after she was gone. But behind that financial growth is a reality that cannot be changed. She was not there to experience it, not there to see the expansion of her brand, not there to build further, not there to live the life she was creating. And that is what makes her story deeply emotional, because it highlights the difference between building wealth and living it. She had already achieved what many people spend decades chasing. She had built a multi-million-dollar career, expanded into multiple industries, and created a foundation for long-term success. But in the end, none of it could replace time. None of it could protect her from the moment that changed everything. And that leaves behind a question that goes beyond her story. While people focus on earning more, building faster, and reaching success at a young age, how many truly understand the importance of time, of balance, and of being able to actually live the life they are building? Because Aaliyah had everything needed to become one of the most successful and influential figures in entertainment history. But at just 22 years old, she ran out of time before she could ever